What's up, guys? Just taking in this last 16 seconds of the first half. Hopefully, we make it another 6 on the board for us. It's 3rd and 15. I know I'm a little bit behind. Kirk drops back. Check down to Irv. Take a timeout and kick a field goal. Got an extra 3 points off that fumble. Obviously, I would like to see a touchdown there. So, that's unfortunate. Welcome in, guys. We're going to get right down to it as soon as we kick this field goal. We're in London, and I'm drinking tea for a reason. I'm over here sick. Woke up with a sore throat. I don't know if it's because it's so early or what, but got my tea going. Welcome in, guys. Where can I put this? Welcome in. Like I said, I'm going to let the Vikings kick this field goal to end the half. Hopefully it is good. Be sure to drop your guys' comments. And it is good. Vikings going to the half up 13-7. Solid first half. We did leave some points out there on the board, obviously. A few plays that kind of stuck out to me. Make sure you guys hit that share button for me. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in for this halftime show. But again, Vikings up 13-7 at the half. Plays that stuck out to me that have kind of swayed the score and the momentum between the Saints and the Vikings. First one is obviously that Kirk interception. Look, I'm not going to sit here and bash Kirk because that's not what I'm about. Can't throw that ball, though, Kirk. Can't throw that ball. But quarterbacks throw interceptions. It happens. Got to get it back. I like his confidence today. He looks very comfortable. O-line is looking a little shaky against a good New Orleans Saints defense. So let's not forget, this Saints defense is not bad. It's a good defense. They're going to give you issues. As you can see, they already got 2 sacks on the day. Cam Jordan, did he get both sacks? I'm not too sure if he got both of those sacks. But yeah, Saints defense is good, but Kirk can't throw that interception. Another play that wasn't called, should have been a flag, is that Demario Davis trip on Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook didn't get tripped on that play, that may have been a touchdown. So you get that trip. It made it a 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4. We ended up having to punt on that drive. And punt or end up in a field goal. I'm not too sure, but that cost us points because the refs didn't see that damn trip by Demario Davis. Third play that stuck out to me, the CJ Ham miss. I'm not going to sit here and bash Kirk. Kirk could have got a little outside over the shoulder. But again, we're trying to throw a wheel route to a fullback. So, look, I've seen CJ Ham do it before, but I'm not expecting us to continue to go to CJ Ham on fade routes and wheel routes. And the fourth play that stuck out to me, the munt drop. You got to catch that, Johnny. You got to catch that. That's a first down. That gives us a 1st and goal and allows us to put a touchdown up on the board on that drive. We weren't able to do that. We only got 3 on that. Made it a 10-7 game. And then obviously the fumble on Andy Dalton before the end of the half, which put us in scoring position. But the thing is, you got to put touchdowns on the board. This is my issue. And I'm not saying it's a bad scheme. I've actually loved what I've seen out of KOC this first half. A little shaky again along the offensive line, had some drops. But you got to put touchdowns on the board. With a team like the New Orleans Saints, with how banged up they are on the offensive side of the ball, not the defensive side of the ball, they still have that defense intact. But with the people that they're missing on the offensive side of the ball, you cannot let them stay in this game. They're getting the ball coming out in the second half, and it's only a 6-point game. It shouldn't be a 6-point game. This game should be 20-0, 21 or not 20-0, 21-7, 21-3. It shouldn't be this close. Now, defense doing a decent job outside of that Kirk interception, which got the Saints that 7 points. I think the defense has done decent. They've done an all right job against the run. Andy Dalton, 8 for 9 for 53 yards. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. You're doing a pretty good job. It's just turnovers. You're giving the Saints opportunities to stay in this game. If you continue to give the Saints opportunities to stay in this game, they will have an opportunity to win it. So this is what I want to see out of the Vikings in the second half. I got to see the same aggressive mind state as we've been seeing. You cannot sit here and play conservative like we're so used to when we had Mike Zimmer at the helm of this team. You got to stay aggressive. 6-point lead at halftime should not be good enough. Should not be good enough. Let me get some of your guys' comments. Mike says Kirk needs to be more consistent. I like the way Kirk has played this first half. I have no issues with what Kirk has done outside of that interception, which you can't throw that ball. You can't. Even if you throw that ball, you got to throw it over that safety. You cannot try and fire it in there with a guy like Tyrann Mathieu. We can talk about how old Tyrann Mathieu is, and he's over the hill, which I mentioned last night. But at the same time, he's still a playmaker. You got to get it over him and get the ball into Erstman's hands. If not, you just cannot throw that ball. Let me see. I know I just saw another comment. With what O-line blocking, Sam, you got to relax, man. We're going up against a good Saints defense. We're not going up against some random ragtag defense. This is a very good New Orleans Saints defense. They're going to get after it. And we've seen it in the first half. Greg Aker says, need to stretch the field. It's coming. It's coming. One thing I like that I saw in that first half, we're getting Adam Thielen going. We're getting Adam Thielen going, and that just bodes well for Justin Jefferson later on in the game. Plain and simple. I would like to see a little bit more KJ involved, but just seeing the production that we're getting out of Adam Thielen in the first half, things are going to open up for JJ. I got my guy Justin tapping in. What's good, Justin? How you feeling about the first half?
I'll say this defense is being completely wasted by this offense right now. This defense is the weakness of this team. 5 drives in that first half, punt, touchdown because of an interception, quick change, punt, and turnover. And you have 6-point lead on them, and they're going to get the ball the second half. So here's what's going to happen. They're going to score a touchdown. We're going to be down a point after this defense basically dominated this game. How many opportunities did we have to have? I said this on our show on Monday. I said it on our show last night before you guys went. You cannot be content having 13 points on the board, and that's exactly what they did. Listen, I do not expect perfection out of any offense, any quarterback, any coaching staff, but it's 4th and 1 after a terrible drop, and you decide to kick the field goal. And I didn't like that call at the time, but I'm like, all right, well,
you got to take the lead there. I think you got to. I like being aggressive, but at that point, it's a tie game. Take the lead, get your 3 points. But I wouldn't be mad if we went for it, is what I'm saying. But I'm also not mad that we kicked the field goal.
What I'm mad about is first play, your defense gets you a turnover. Again, the defense, the weakness of this team. I'm going to sound like a broken record. And then you get the ball at the 20 with over a minute and 3 timeouts, and you don't even get a first down. That first play call, okay, you're trying to feel them out. You got 20 yards. Okay. You call a timeout when Jefferson gets tackled there.
Yeah, I don't like that. Especially you don't take timeouts into the half. You don't. You got to use those timeouts and give your guys time. It wound all the way down to what, 23 seconds, 24 seconds before we got off the next play. Right. We can't do that. That's flashbacks ridiculous. Of last year almost.
That's flashbacks to the last 8 years under Mike Zimmer. I didn't know Mike Zimmer could repossess Kevin O'Connell there. That clock management, that lack of aggression after that turnover. Listen, you go up 10-7, and I'm thinking, all right, please just hold them to a field goal and be tied at the half, even though defense deserve better than that. You get a turnover, you do absolutely nothing with it. Listen, yes, Kirk Cousins should have there should have been a flag on that second down play where Kirk Cousins gets whacked in the face again. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, they get those calls. But you know what? Kirk's never going to get that call unless it's so blatant.
Yeah, he never gets it. He never
correct.
Gets it.
So for anybody who says I never prop Kirk Cousins or I always blame him for everything, no, there should have been a penalty on that. But having said all of that, there's too many wasted opportunities offensively in this game. Now, come out, turn it around, lock it down. That's all well and good. But at the same time, you're playing a bad Saints team that defensively, they still got their players. They got one guy on offense. One guy on offense. One guy. Now, I just said it, Dave, before you jumped right in with that comment. Yes, the Saints defensively, they're pretty stout. But offensively, they got one guy. You should have more than 13 points on the board is all I'm going to say.
Well,
and again, props to this defense. Props to this defense right now.
Kirk Cousins is doing his thing. Outside of that interception, I think Kirk is having a good game. He looks better than what he looked against the Detroit Lions last week in the first half. I got to say
I'll
that.
give. Yes.
16 for 23, 156 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, is taking 2 sacks. So offensive line is looking a little shaky. Like I said earlier, Darisaw gave up a sack and Brian O'Neill gave up a sack. That's 2 of our strongest offensive linemen giving up sacks. But like I said, let's not forget this Saints defense is good, guys.
Yes.
This isn't just some ragtag defense that we're going up against. Like, they come into games saying we're going to play good defense and we're going to run the ball, especially with Jameis Winston out. And they haven't done the best job of running the ball. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I feel our defense is doing a good enough job. Like you said, we got the turnover late in the first half, put us in scoring position. I would have liked to get 6 out of that. Bad time management by KOC. You got to use those timeouts. You cannot get the ball back with, what was it, 1 minute and 5 seconds left. You have all 3 timeouts, and you wait to call a timeout when there's 20, or you don't even call a time. You run a play with 20 some odd seconds left. Now you're stuck in a position to where you can't be aggressive because there's not enough time to be. You're either going to take a shot at the end zone, or it's going to be a couple check downs or short routes, which is what we saw, and you call a timeout and you don't have enough time to actually get in the end zone, so you kick the field goal. But
no, I do agree with what you're saying about particularly Cam Jordan, but their entire defensive line is very, very stout. I'll say this. Is it too much to ask that, okay, it's 3rd down and forever, you know you got one play. Is it too much to ask to throw the ball into the end zone? What did those yardage to Irv Smith really get you? Absolutely nothing. Throw the ball in the end zone just once is all I'm asking. I know it's asking a lot.
So before this second half starts, what do you expect out of the team this second half? Saints get the ball to open up the second half. Obviously, we need to stop on defense, get that ball back. But what do you expect? What are we going to see in the second half?
Well, the cynic in me is going to say that the Saints are going to score a touchdown and they're going to be up a point before we get the ball back, because that's just how it is, where we've had an opportunity to be up by, 10, 14 some odd points. Realistically, I think defensively, if they can continue to do the bend but don't break, again, they only had one not good drive defensively in that first half. So at the end of the day, for me, defensively, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep everything in front of you. Have 3 guys on Chris Olave and do the rest. The running game, they've gashed you a couple times here and there, but it hasn't been overly ridiculous. And like I said, the only momentum offensively the Saints have had is off of a sudden change. Offensively, calm down. Get back to where you're at. Yes, the offensive line, not a little bit shaky. Again, the bar was so low last year with how bad the offensive line was that for 3 weeks it looked pretty daggone good. Okay, it's back to where it should be, where you're going to have some good plays. How do you not get a penalty on that trip on Dalvin Cook, who he was shot out of the game?
That was big, though. That was huge because if he doesn't get tripped there, that's a possible touchdown. He might have been gone. And then after that play, it ended up in a 3-and-out, and I think we punted it back to the Saints,
Correct,
if I'm not mistaken. So that was a huge no call by the refs. But nonetheless, you're going to miss some calls. You're going to get some calls. It's just part of the game. You got to step up and make up for it. But we got to come out in this second half aggressive. I know the Saints want to run the ball, but we got to put points on the board and force them to be a throwing team. We want Andy Dalton to have to drop back and have to face our pass rushers, the Darius Smith, the Neil Hunter. We got to get him in that situation. So we got to put points on the board here, and it starts with a stop on the defensive side of the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a turnover coming out in this first possession of the second half. I expect this team to take off in the second half. We came out to start the game. I love the tempo. I love the game plan by KOC and this team. We looked great coming out. We just weren't able to put up the points that we were expecting to put up. We're moving the ball. So we just got to finish drive. So I think we're gonna run away with this one in the second half. I'm crossing my fingers. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the Vikings to pull away.
They had the formula perfect in the first 5 possessions or so. You come out, you have basically a 7-minute drive for a touchdown. You get a 3-and-out, and it's like, okay, put your foot on their throats. But having said all that, offense just needs to settle down. I will say this, though. Prayers up to Lewis Snead. That is such an unfortunate situation. If you have not seen the video, don't bother going looking for it because it is gruesome. needless to say, he's done for the year, and hopefully he can actually be back ready to go here. But it's unfortunate for a guy who, first round draft pick and, been trying to get on the field and all that good stuff. And it was just one of those freak plays here.
And he actually got in on the field on the defensive side of the ball early in the game too, which
when it rains, it pours. So we're going to be back, 10 minutes after the close of the game? What's the schedule looking like for you?
Maybe even sooner, depending on how the end of the game is kind of coming about. But we will have an immediate reaction to this game. And then we will be having our normal post-game show, which is later on in the evening, about 30, 45 minutes before the Sunday night football game. So make sure everybody that's tuning in today or right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And obviously follow us on Facebook as well and on Twitter at the Purple Code 1. And like I said, we will be live immediately after the game and then post-game later. So appreciate you guys tapping in. This is the Halftime Show. I am SK with Justin Day. Enjoy the second half, guys. Peace.
Skol out.